Therapy at the barbershop. Okay, so we've all known if you've ever gotten a haircut as a man that usually the barbershop becomes like this low key version of therapy. Now, let me make sure I I'm clear. I am not saying your barber is your therapist. I'm saying that usually some form of therapeutic stuff happens at the barbershop. So, why does this happen? What is really going on? And how do we use some of this for good? You can't go to therapy every day. So we know that most people don't go to therapy every week. Uh, People sometimes go once a month or once every other month, depending on insurance and how you can afford it or how much of it that you are willing to take on. When I was growing up, the barbershop was usually the place where men gathered. It was like the only place that men gathered and they just talked. Like the haircut would be about 30 minutes, but they just talked about life. They talked about sports. They talked about relationships. And I didn't realize how unhealthy and healthy it is, but it was a place where men would talk. It's still to this day, most barbershops are now going towards appointments where you're not sitting in there talking, you're getting in, getting out. But it's usually a place of some therapy. Now the barber's not a licensed therapist, so he's not giving you uh, information deeply, but a lot of listening was happening. A lot of listening was happening. A lot of sharing. A lot of exchanging perspectives. A lot of giving you advice. The older men will be giving the young dudes advice. Yo, young man, don't do it this way. Trust me, I did it this way. That didn't work well. Or, hey, the young man would be telling the OG, we don't do it that way anymore. It was an exchange of wisdom, but the main thing was it was always a place where you got to sit down, you got to do some self care by getting your hair cut, and you had someone who listened to you. For some reason, I don't know. Barbers would be remembering everything you said. I don't know how they have or how they do it, but they will be remembering what you said about last week, week before that, such and such. Like my barber has known me for a while, so I'm in his chair recently, and he's like, how's the passion behind what you're doing with this? How's mom? How's your sisters? How's the family? Vice versa. An amazing thing. So no, it's not therapy where you're in front of a licensed professional, but there's a therapeutic aspect to it if it's healthy, right? Is there gossip there? Yeah, right. Same thing with a hair salon or any gathering of people. What do I wish happened or could happen that would make this a better experience? And this is gonna sound wild. This is me just thinking off the wall. So, if barbers and therapists work together, if therapists could offer their services maybe in a group setting and they offered it maybe at the barbershop, maybe barbers become therapists. But I think if therapists offered it at the barbershop in some group settings and the topics were just basic topics that they are knowing that men are fighting and wrestling with, I think that open door could could do wonders. I think that open door could show show men that it's okay. But I think just having them come in and thinking that they're gonna just immediately start spilling their soul out, I don't think that's gonna happen as frequent as I think it should happen or could happen. So is the barbershop a therapist place? No, but there's some therapeutic aspects to it. Now, here's something that also happens in the barbershop that most people don't realize. You build connections when you're there. Because usually you come around the same time every week or how often you go. So you're learning about this dude because you're hearing him talk. You're learning about this dude. Of course, you know about your barber. They know about you. You form this bond. I think we yearn for connection and brotherhood a lot more than we think. And I sometimes feel the thing that could be stopping it is us feeling that it only has to be formed in a traditional way. Sometimes it's just formed naturally like that, like in the barbershop. But I know we yearn connection, we yearn brotherhood, we yearn to share, we yearn to be heard, we yearn to be noticed. And I think that's healthy. So my if any therapist is out there listening to this, I would love to see some therapy done in a barbershop. Right? It can be called Beyond the Cut. I would love for a barber and a therapist to do a podcast together. Not a podcast episode, but like a season together where they literally just get there and they talk. They understand each other. They see similarities, they see differences, and they see ways to help each other. And why do I think that? I just think that because I think it because our world needs it so much. Our world needs help. Men need help. And if we can do that in a place where they already are, I think it can be something awesome. So if you're a therapist out there, you're a barber out there, might want to think about that. Other than that, guys, I'm out of here. Be great.